Good morning. Some days the script just writes itself. It's the first full week of the year. Markets are much more volatile than they were last night. Extremely slow overnight, and we come out pow, guns a blazing, hands out, as we'd say in the pit. And we got someone special to talk about it, Connor B. We have charts ready to go on your demand. We have a lot of things going on. Looking over at the quote board, Connor, corn down 7, beans down 17, border trade wheat down 20, cattle up 200, feeder up 300, hogs up, gold down, crude down 330. Break it all down for us, my friend.
Oh man, commodity market, corn, beans, wheat, they're doing about as good as a sports team I cheer for. Right? Not good at all. Seeing some serious weakness. We got trade first Monday of the 2024. Traders are back in full force, and I feel like we are feeling it right now, Tommy. Yeah, as you said, Nove 24, we broke below $12, sitting at 11.95, and Dees 24 corn 487 and a half. Joe and I were talking before we jumped on, and I think we got support at 485 there. So, real quick, Friday we had commitment on traders report. So let's go over that real quick. They said about what you would expect, Tommy, on corn. They added a little bit to the shorts. As you can see, red dot is 2024. We're sitting right at 200,000 short, right, getting into like 2019 levels, I believe.
And that could be an interesting catalyst for a rally. So if you want to know
Right.
why we could rally, this is equivalent to corn being at 750 and the funds being a record long. I mean, when they go to get out of that, there's nothing scarier than the funds long corn and a farmer who doesn't want to sell at really profitable prices. Now we're getting into an area that's a
The
very
opposite.
sensitive subject. Is that the most expensive crop you ever planted last year is dropping at a pretty rapid rate. I wish I didn't have my markets up, but we need them for the chart. And it's a serious time. We need serious people. It's meeting season, and every farmer is going to go to these meetings thinking, I'm going to go on stage for 45 minutes and be able to help them. The number one thing that could have helped you is something you did a year ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago. The funds have the gas down on the funds are sellers of commodities, aren't they, Connor?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Way more. I mean, just to add a little more color to it, is 2022, as you can see, we were long into 24. That's when we got short, and they continue to pile on the shorts. Similar story with soybeans, a little bit more volatile. It wasn't just a gradual adding to shorts, right? We saw some choppiness if we're looking at fund positions. And I don't know, do you think we could continue that? Maybe, same thing on corn where this could be, if we see the funds buying back in, we'll talk South America and all that down the road. But as you can see, red dot, it's hard to see. We're sitting at like 18,000 short, I believe, Tommy, on soybeans.
Yeah, it's not a pretty picture. And when we break down the charts and start to draw support lines, we could go much lower. Now, these are the things people don't want to talk about. Uh, people sell subscriptions, newswire stuff like we're going to do here shortly. You want to be positive, you want to be optimistic, you want to be
Right.
energetic, but you still have to tell the truth. And the truth is, these markets are going from the top left to the bottom right. You have not just an American farmer caught long, but a world farmer caught long. And that is the truth. What else do we have under charts? We're
The
under
COT, other thing I have is we could talk a little bit, just looking at South America, uh, looking at what's caused this weakness. Cesar sent this to me yesterday, and just look how much Brazil exports corn exports to China. Look at that explosion. Next chart shows it as well. 22-23 was the year that we saw Brazil export right 10 times more than they have in previous years to China, right? And exports in total coming out of South America were great, right? That's a big factor for the weakness in 2023. So thought it was a great chart that showed how much Brazil shipped to China and what how we saw that demand go away from the U.S. in 2023.
Yeah, these are some wild times. All right, so not only do we have markets down, we have demand starting to go down. We have China, a major swift to South America. Sometimes American analysts really focus on what's going on in America. We really need to look at the world picture, and sometimes the markets do a better at that. All right, let's buckle up. This isn't going to be fun, but let's look at some charts. You ready, my friend?
Let's do it.
All right. Last week, oh boy, here we go. I told you this wouldn't be fun, and it's not fun. This is
Uh,
the same chart we've been showing for the last few days. D's 24 corn. Talk about this, my friend.
I believe, was it Friday, Tommy? You added that red arrow, and we talked $5 resistance. We closed below that a week. It was Tuesday. We closed below it, never broke, and now we're sitting at 486 as we're looking at right now. And so I had support. I mean, looking at this, Tommy, I had support at 485. I think if we expanded a little bit, we could see that. But
Let me go
I
to a weekly. Yes,
support's
sir.
an odd word, right? I guess if I was a chart guy, I'd throw support in somewhere. But here we go. Yes,
You go all the way back to uh, 21, right? And look at the life of this contract. We are if we don't stop shortly here and start going back up, this is really going to concern many people. It's going to concern the banker. I'm telling you, my Tony Dunker sent us an email on Friday. She sent it to all advanced brokers. We are brokers. We're not. We just don't do TV here. Uh, and she said, "Boys, the phones are starting to light up." And my brother looked at me, Joe. He goes, "What phones? No one's calling today." An hour later, I had 3 people I've known over the years say, "I need help. I need to open an account. I need to do something." The sentiments changed, the market's changed. I don't even know if the bankers seen this chart, but if you're out there watching, there's a farmer who is long corn, say from 550 cost production, who now has a these with March's corn move today, a lot of cash markets in North Dakota have a 3 in front of them. So old crop corn in North Dakota officially hit 399 across the state of North Dakota in many places with price action like this. What else would you like to see from the charts? Little note
that
24.
right. Yeah, or let's go March. Let's go March corn real quick, Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Look at that, talking about that, and you hit the nail on the head. A 3 in front of it, North Dakota. Um, here in Illinois, you're probably sitting at right around a 420 to maybe low 430s cash price. The problem is if we stored at the elevator and take that off, we're hitting right at $4, which is amazing to see. So March corn, right?
Let's look at some
Similar,
spreads, Connor. You said store. Let's talk about that storing decision. What
yeah.
spread would you like to see?
Let's do like March. You got March, July loaded up?
You just ask, say please and thank you, and it
Ask and
will
that
be
shall
there.
receive.
Yes, sir. Talk about
Look
this
at
a little
that.
bit.
Yeah, it's the same thing we've been talking about. How previous years, I feel like we didn't have a carry market for 2-3 years, right? We got out of 2020, and it's been inverted and small carries. In 2023 was the year where we got more into a carry market, and that's what this chart shows us. How we were, right? If I can read it, not quite, but uh, early into May, June, this summer, we were hovering not a whole lot, and we've just continued to add the carry, right? As the world balance sheet, US balance sheet grows, so does that carry number. And now we're sitting at March, July. What is that number? Close to 22. I got it 22,
Correct.
23 cent carry right now. And so
Mhm.
that'll be a big thing to watch down the road. What we got
Let's
here,
look at
Tommy?
March Dees real quick. That was just a different time frame. Let's look at March Dees and talk about this a little bit. Same
Yeah,
thing, just different carry.
Yeah. March D's, right? So this is a little bit, I think of it as old crop going to new crop, right? And again, the past couple of years, it's been inverted. If we were hedging next year's crop, we were doing it at lower levels. That is not the case right now. Right now, that March D's carry is at, what is that, 34, don't hold me to this, 33, 34 cents
Correct.
carry going at that. And as we see it continues to get weaker into the new year, right? We continue to add to it and see that.
Nope, 24 real quick. Break it down. This is Friday's support line, or at least, yeah, it was a line we drew Friday. I mean, how low could this go?
Where you got
It
your
wasn't
cursor right there, 1120. It astounds me every time I look at a Nove 24 chart. It's amazing how I can block out that summer weakness we saw in soybeans down to 1120 this summer, Tommy. And then we had 2 runs up to, no, I'm sorry, 3 runs above 13 up to the 1320, right? Yeah, in the 1320s. Right now, we drop below the 1218 resistance, and as we're sitting right now, 1197 board price on Nove 24.
real quick, Connor, before we go. We have a 10-minute crude oil chart here, and so many markets. This is the
Oh,
first full week of the year. The professional traders are back. They come out hands out. A lot of markets are sellers. Obviously, the cattle market has a bid, and the bond markets, yields are going down a little bit. But these are major price actions and big volume days. Of course, crude oil, it seems every time it gets below 70, they talk about filling up the strategic oil reserve. Of course, farmers are looking to buy things cheaper. Keep an eye on natural gas, which is down big today. Hey, remember that over under we had on that snowstorm? We still won't know about that, but this snowstorm coming across Midwest, real big deal as we
Right.
start getting the winter meeting season. Connor B, let's get one more time. Let's get back into these. You have a couple more charts. Speaking of weather,
What we covered U.S. weather. We've got I think 2 big winter storms coming out. We'll see if those materialize. Looking down at South America, we've been talking a lot about how the weather pattern has normalized, right? And so just taking a quick peek at it, future precipitation as we look in the next 14 days. And when I look at this, Tommy, I don't really see wet. I just see less dry, especially in Mato Grosso, right? They're looking a little bit more average weather patterns. There's not as much red in that central northern part of Brazil that we've seen a lot of dryness. So we'll see if that materializes past 48 hours, right? I wish it went back a little bit farther, but just looking at 48 hours, southern Brazil continues to get rains, and they're getting some spotty rains up north as well. So we are seeing that precip hit Brazil, and then if the snows materialize, we're going to see some precip in a good part of the corn growing region of the United States as well. Luke, what do we got today? Happy Monday, Luke. I'll read it, Tommy. You can digest it. What percentage of APH on-farm storage do you think most should have? Obviously, it doesn't look very advantageous right now as it did 2 years ago.
That's a great question, Luke. So farm storage is something interesting. If I was a farmer, there's times I wish I could store 100% of my crop. And if I was a farmer, there's times mathematically advanced trading would tell you sell all your crop and move to an option strategy. What I do know, and I can't answer the question, but what I do know is when you need the most storage and you don't have it, it costs you. So you either pay to build storage or you pay someone else to store it for you. And there's different reasons to do both. It's very important to understand. You need to email us and call us, Luke, but it's very important to understand where you are, what your cash levels like, and what your cash flow levels are like. When I say cash, I mean cash grain. When I say cash levels, I mean when do you need your money? So over history, farmers sell grain when they're out of storage or need money. I've been going on the shows, RFD TV. I'm on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm on Tuesday also with Scott the Cow Guy. I've been going on TV and saying the American farmer is going to stay in control of their corn. Is that true, Connor?
It is still true today. It was true a month ago, and it's probably going to be true in a couple of months. When I think bin storage, there's no right answer. Every operation is going to be a little bit different. But when we start talking ROIs, right, return on investment, if we look at a bin and merchandising using that bin storage the right way, talk about a fantastic or ROI if you're a young farmer. That's what I think when I look at a bin storage, right? Talk about a great tool, but that's what they are. They're a tool and they got to be used correctly. Yeah. Nathan, this has got to be one of your customers, Tommy. I want to thank you very much for your advice months ago to unload this past year's crop. You forecasted all this months ago. Of course he did.
I don't know if I forecasted it. I understand that commodity bull markets don't last forever and that inflation was coming down and there's an election this year. So I've never known a president to go in and say, boy, I hope corn's really high this year. They would much rather lose the 1% of the farmer vote than the 99% of Americans going to the supermarket. With that, Connor B., how do people get a hold of us on social medias?
Yeah, don't forget we're doing this every day. Like and subscribe us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you got any questions or want to talk further, send us an email, give us a call. We'd love to digest this stuff. We do it every day. And so I think with that, let's go ahead and roll my favorite Gasafi, Tommy.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.